Morecambe and Wise back next Friday at the same time with guests Lulu and Henry Cooper.
On the cover of the new Radio Times, Cilla Black and Cliff
Richard.
Richard.
Copy because I've got to be back in a minute. Hi there. Now, as you probably know, over the last few years, I have been lucky enough to be very closely associated with the United Kingdom entry into the Eurovision Song Contest. Firstly, you probably remember I sang a little old thing called Congratulations, actually in the contest, and I lost. Then, over the last 3 years, the actual selection for A Song for Europe was featured as part of my own TV series right here on BBC Television. There was Mary Hopkin, followed closely by Clodagh Rogers, and then, of course, last year, it was the New Seekers. Well, now, this year, the wheel has turned full circle, because tomorrow night on the Cilla Black Show, 8:15, BBC One Television, I will be singing the first of 6 songs in A Song for Europe 1973. Well, as for the actual contest, well, this year it's in Luxembourg, and I'm hoping, like mad, that I'll come 1 position higher than I did the last time I did it. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow night. That's at 8:15, Cilla Black Show, BBC One. Move over, Cilla.
Now on BBC One, the news, followed at 9:25 by Cannon.
This is the 9 o'clock news. First, the freeze. In the final talks before Phase 2, retailers tell the government they accept the need for continued price controls. And in the gas dispute, the employers offer to resume pay talks, but the unions have so far made no decision about their threatened overtime ban. Midland Cold Storage, the container company, has applied to the Industrial Relations Court to withdraw its complaint against dockers' unions. In Northern Ireland, the Army has expressed deep regret over the death of a woman in Belfast. And we have a special report on how the Swiss are treating Caroline Desrameaux. But first, pay and prices.
Well, Mr. Heath and his senior colleagues today held the last of the consultations with the various branches of the economy, unions, industrialists, retailers, before finally fixing details of the next stage of controls, the freeze phase 2. Today it was the turn of the shopkeepers, and in their talks with ministers, there were also detailed discussions of the operation of value-added tax. Here's Ian Ross.
The members of the Retail Consortium, which represents 95% of the country's retail outlets, were keen to dispel the impression that the transition to value-added tax would result in large increases in retail prices. Competition, they pointed out, would see to it that this didn't happen. Well, the TUC has repeatedly said that the introduction of VAT might be used as a pretext for unwarranted price rises, as happened, they claim, following decimalisation. But Lord Redmayne, the Retail Consortium's chairman, said that a survey he'd carried out showed that many retailers would make less profit, not more, after the switch to VAT. This seems to have surprised some ministers present. The retailers were, of course, given no clue about the rate of VAT, which the Chancellor will introduce in April. The government's purpose in calling the meeting was to discuss various methods of controlling retail prices in Phase 2. But there was no hint of what precise controls the government will decide on. The retailers obviously hope to be represented on the board that's going to be set up to monitor prices, about which Lord Redmayne had this to say.
The point that we made about the prices body is that it is important that it should be advised by retailers with expert knowledge of their own trades, and particularly of the various sectors of the retail trade. I mean, the mail order, the department store, the multiple in the high street, the small shopkeeper. Each of these have their separate problems. And if cases affecting any one of those sectors come up to the Prices Board, we'd like to see that the case presented to the Prices Board is well informed from the retail point of view. I don't think that's an unreasonable request.
Despite the Chancellor's insistence that fresh food prices are outside government control, many people see no reason at all why they can't be controlled.